Also very interesting to see how the White House is now talking about more ideas in terms of gun control and possible legislation. Let me show you a pair of pictures. These are lawmakers that the White House now says they'd be willing to listen to and maybe even perhaps advance the agenda to do something about background checks. We're talking about Senate Majority Whip John Cornyn of Texas and Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut. The two men obviously doing what they can to create an idea that would enhance background checks, something that we've also heard from the White House on numerous occasions they would certainly consider as they continue to move forward in the conversation. Let me share a bit of what Sarah Sanders had to say this weekend about what the president thinks. She said the president spoke to Senator Cornyn on Friday about the bipartisan bill he and Senator Murphy introduced to improve federal compliance with criminal background check legislation. While discussions are ongoing and revisions are being considered, the president is supportive of efforts to improve the federal background check system. And this is something that has been very important to the White House for quite some time. In fact, you may remember on Friday, the president took part in a roundtable with stakeholders, not just community leaders and lawmakers, but also those who live here, who work here, and whose priority, like all of us, is to maintain the safety and security of America's children. That was on Friday. That's a conversation, as you know, that will continue this week. In fact, the president will have a listening tour on Wednesday, and of course, we'll bring you all the details from that. Alicia?
Kevin, very busy week this week, but also busy week for the weekend for the president. He was pretty active on Twitter. What can you tell us about that?
Oh boy, was it ever. Let me take you to Twitter and show you just part of what the president was talking about. Everyone knows that the president has sort of had a back and forth with Adam Schiff, the California congressman. Well, he's actually thanking Adam Schiff this morning. Okay, over the weekend he was thanking him. President tweeted this: finally, little Adam Schiff, the leaking monster of no control, is now blaming the Obama administration for Russian meddling in the 2016 election. He's finally right about something. Obama was president, knew of the threat, and did nothing. Bit of a golf clap here at the end. Thank you, Adam. Of course, the president is making a reference to the announced indictments last week of Russian operatives who began to target America's campaign operations and political debate long before he ran for office. Here's his former campaign manager, Corey Lewandowski.
Well, the president has a very important point, and the point is that the previous administration, the Obama administration, under Jim Comey's lack of leadership at the FBI, should have been doing something about this, because if they were informed back in May of 2014, now don't forget, Donald Trump came down that beautiful escalator in June of 2015, so 13 months later. But what we now know, according to the indictments from Rod Rosenstein, was that for 13 months prior to Donald Trump even...
Well, guys, I'm going to give my commentary, apologize about that, on these issues.
Getting into the race, the Russians were...
Let me try to... First of all, guns should be given to every American, period, right now. Without a background check, without a doctor's, you just have lack of information. And I apologize that you are not educated on the ways of the world. When the government gets more and more corrupt, that's when they want your guns. When the government was not corrupt, they had no reason to take your guns. Now they're corrupt. The mainstream media is corrupt. The medical industry is corrupt. The police are corrupt. The FBI is corrupt. That's pretty obvious. Everybody's willing to take payoffs. Everybody's willing to be Judas Iscariot for money in every facet of our life. Corporations are absolutely corrupt. And now they want your guns. How ignorant can we possibly be as a human race? How ignorant can we be? The timing of how first of all, you don't have a government. That's what you have. You have governing the mental. That's it. That's all the word means. It just means govern the mental. So, in other words, it's not in the hands of humans. It's in the hands of bankers. And bankers already, you can tell that they have no respect. I mean, even lending money and charging interest used to be against the law in the United States. You can't charge. You call it usury. You couldn't charge interest. So they have no respect for God's law, right? They create their own. It's called maritime admiralty. And the way that they get away with it is they say that you're dead. Your driver's license says you're a fictional character. And when you go to court, they want your driver's license. They want your ID. They want your, well, it's pretty sad. And these shootings were staged. That kid was an MK Ultra victim, just like myself. But I have nothing in common with this kid. Nothing. I'm not going to make a deal. I would never shoot up kids. When they put me in this program, they failed. That's why they hate me so much. That's why they stalk me, because it failed with me. Let me ask you a question. Do they transport information into my head? Absolutely. But I have such a strong, powerful free will that I won't accept it. Now, all I'm trying to tell you is they're not going to allow any human on this earth that has free will, that won't accept the programming or the official story, the official narrative of the criminally insane. They're not going to allow you to stay around. That's why they're hunting me down, accusing me of crimes I didn't commit, stalking me and trying to say that I'm a danger to society and I'm a danger to myself or whatever. It's not true. If anybody's a danger to society, it's them. They're the most dangerous thing that's ever hit this society, the whole system. And most people can't even see the system. Every corporation, whether it's the police, the FBI, the DOJ, NSA, it doesn't matter. They're all controlled by a central banking system. The only thing that has the voice is humans. And it's strange because all of these entities, even the corporations, are supposed to be working for you. But they don't see it that way anymore. We've entered into a time to where they have more protection than we do. And if they take away your guns, then you have no protection whatsoever. You have no civil liberties, rights, freedoms, nothing. You can't even go out and try to hunt food, because they are planning on taking away your food. They're not going to do that until you give up your guns. And by the way, they don't really care about the people that are Orwellianly mind controlled through MK Ultra and the nanotechnology that they're spraying on you on a daily basis called solar radiation management, or SAI. Every day. They're spraying outside in Louisiana right now. It's 2/19/2018. I just filmed it. I'm uploading the video right as we speak. They're not going to allow people that have critical thinking skills, just like the movie The Matrix. Once you're outside of the Matrix, Mr. Smith, okay, Mr. Anderson, Mr. Smith, the builder of the Matrix, Mr. Smith is going to go after the neocortex, the higher mind, and the Trinity, right? Anything to do with Christianity, conservatism, Judaism, anything to do with believing in a higher being, they don't want you. They don't want you on this planet. And that's why Hollywood has done everything that they could to demonize people. Transsexual, bisexual, all this stuff. If you fall for that, then you're plugged in. They don't see you as a threat. But they still plan on killing you. Because they want a weaker, they want a smaller human being, a weaker human being. You can see the Chinese, they've already done that. If you haven't been paying, the Chinese are smaller race by far. So that you can see that they've experimented with China. They want smaller, weaker, and I'm not saying the Chinese are weak, because they're not weak at all. But that means that they plan on killing Chinese people too, because they're too strong. If they want cars that read your brain like Nissan, park themselves, brake themselves, okay, and all kind of other things, then, all they need is a dumb and dumber human, just like the movie with Jim Carrey. They need a dumb and dumber human in order to operate these machines. You're going to be so stupid that you won't even be able to hit the brakes. You won't be able to critically think. You won't have any passion, no fire, no free will, no God the Creator.